What's the most NSFW thing you've witnessed in public? Midday. A fight between two gentlemen spilled out of a Tim Hortons. Your average cursing, fist throwing. Then, all of a sudden, one of the guys pulls out a pen and stabs the other in the eye multiple times. Gory as The pen is mightier than the sword. Witnessed a woman giving some dude a BJ in a parked car one morning while I was riding the bus to school. Bus was stopped in traffic and I just happened to look down at the parked car next to us. There she was just going to town. She happened look up as the bus was pulling off. We made eye contact. She had a guilty look on her face. Was on the bus in a busy street in the Melbourne CBD. As we rounded a corner, saw a woman next to her bike on the bike path. She'd stopped to peep shit and all I saw was her squatting next to the bike with her bare ass in the air. I nudged the person I was sitting next to because I honestly didn't believe what I was seeing. After a few seconds she pulled her pants back up and went on her way. This would have been around 10 a.m. In the pub I used to run, saw a woman straddle a man and vigorously grind all over him, with a 70-plus-year-old gentleman sat 10 feet away rubbing himself over it. Gentlemen, ain't nothing gentle about a man beating his dick 10 feet away. Bloke getting his brain shot out by some other bloke. For them, it was probably part of the job, some underworld criminal thing, but it wasn't something suitable for my work. Nope. I used to work at a strip club, but honestly it was kind of more like a brothel. We had private lap dance rooms with no visibility, so obviously people were doing things they shouldn't fairly regularly. One time a guy got a dance with two girls. He goes up with them to a private room. A few minutes later he runs out covered in shit and vomit and both girls run out half undressed and run to the dressing room. Apparently he decided to finger one of the girls in the ass and she shit everywhere. The other girl got some on her and then threw up all over the place. I never saw any of those people again. I work at an outdoor public pool in the summer, and 2 summers ago I had to ask 2 dudes to stop having oral sex in the pool during family swim. 200 plus people were there. A girl getting fisted while sat on a bar stool. Wasn't even that late. Maybe around 9 p.m. so the bar was just filling up and most people were closer to sober than drunk. There is a local prostitute that everyone in my coffee shop, many in the neighborhood, knew by name. She was very kind when she wasn't hopped up on drugs, which was extremely rare. She had a very rough life. One winter night, she came in with her skirt hiked up to high heaven and not wearing any underwear. She stood in front of the window and just started dancing. I went up to her and told her she needed to leave if she was going to do that, or she could sit down and have a coffee. She replied with, "How else will I find a husband?" Streets of New York. Around 3 p.m. or so, a drunk couple were walking down the street. Calling their travel walking is even a stretch. They were pulling themselves down a fence, which made it look like there was some strange force pulling them backwards. Anyways, the lady faceplants on the sidewalk and rises to her knees. She starts blowing this dude all the while blood is straight pouring out of her face. I ran inside to grab someone to witness the show, and when I got back they were gone. This past summer I bashed myself on the head with a 20-pound post driver. It honestly didn't hurt at all, but it left a 3-inch gash on my scalp which bled like crazy. NSFW, NSFL pic. So this woman, being as drunk as she was, probably didn't feel a thing. Magnificent moustache. Homeless man by an off-license down the road from Marble Arch Station, London. He throws up into his palms, looks around and swallows it back up. That was when I lost what appetite I had in the quarter-pounder McDonald's burger and gave it to him. And that day he had 2 hot meals equals win. I was in town with my dad when I was about 9 years old. We were going about our business. It was treat night. Suddenly, a man and a woman, completely naked, streaked down the street right by us, followed by police officers. I didn't know what to think. It's a fond memory. I was standing in a club in Prague. To my right, the entire hostel group I was with had their pants down around their ankles. To my left, a guy was finger banging a girl. In front of me, a guy dancing on the couch. The biggest Eastern European bouncer I'd ever seen walks over and I'm thinking, oh shit, these fingerbangers are in trouble. Or maybe the hostel guys. Nope. Dude walks up to the guy on the couch. No dance on couch. There is a dude fingerblasting a girl less than 18 away from him. There are 20 pantsless individuals 2 feet to his right. Prague is awesome. Stay off the furniture. A homeless man sleeping in the alcove of a building in Berlin, without trousers on and with wasps feeding out of open wounds all up his leg. Shudders. He probably wasn't sleeping. Couple of years ago I took my first girlfriend on her very first camping trip in a local national park. After walking about 20 minutes from the car park, we took a little break at a clearing with picnic tables, accompanied by a couple of families with small children. Minutes later, a legion of 7 to 8 bare-breasted women dressed in vaguely elvish loincloths and fake ears arrived at the spot. With them were a couple of guys with cameras and lighting equipment. What followed can be best described as an elf bondage porn photoshoot spectated by us, small children and their horrified parents. 5/5. Got to see elf boobies and girlfriend was totally into it. 2 very conservative Christian lady friends of mine decided to visit New Orleans back in 2004. Great people, but very naive. They saw some dude riding a bicycle whilst jerking his well-endowed member. Main road. Not hiding anything. Sounded like a normal day in New Orleans when they told me that story. Early winter last year I saw someone walking down the street in a pair of slack jeans, some boots and a ushanka, no top. He had his knob out and was pissing as he was walking whilst puffing away on a cig. Life in the north of England. A heavily pregnant woman getting spit roasted in the middle of a park. We also would have accepted Eiffel Tower. That's only when the guys put their hands together. A man masturbating in a park, hiding behind trees, looking at kids playing. I was quite young and sex was taboo. Wish I were older so I had the balls to report. This happened at my kindergarten. We were out playing and noticed a guy loitering around in the park next door hiding behind trees and stuff. A whole class of kindergarten kids thought it was a game of hide and seek and were all lined up against the fence trying to find him. Then we noticed he had his dick out and was pulling it, which we all found pretty funny because none of us had any idea what he was actually doing. Maybe milking it like a cow's teat to pee or something. We weren't sure. Then a teacher rushed out. The man took off and we were all taken inside. The police were called and that was the day we all learned about stranger danger. I was in a bus station in the UK waiting for the last bus home. An overweight lady with Downs got fingered by a homeless dude, like right in front of me. I felt sick. That was nice of him to not treat her differently for having Down syndrome. When I was 16, 1990, I was walking through Copenhagen Central Station when I saw 2 homeless guys. One was sitting on a bench getting a blowjob from the other guy while hitting him repeatedly on the head with an umbrella. Sounds like a real whack job. A whole lot of homeless people busting and shitting. While riding my bike home from school, I rounded a corner to see 2 other students going at it in the middle of the bike trail. Like, there was a whole forest. But nah, this busy bike trail will work. I worked on campus in the cafeteria, so I was there after dark in the winter. I was walking along and I heard moans from an elevated walkway, so out of my sight I shouted up, "Hey, hey, is everything okay up there?" And a guy shouted down, "Yeah, everything is okay," to which I responded, "I want to hear the girl say everything is okay," to which she giggled down that everything was fine, carry on, and left them to it. It felt like a real compromise to me. Didn't disturb them too much, made sure people are safe. How funny would it have been if the girl was really another guy? I heard moaning sounds coming from the crypt below the chapel floor where I was about to practice the organ for a funeral later that day. When I turned the organ blower on in the crypt for the instrument above, a couple emerged, obviously caught red-handed for having used the quiet space for purposes other than burying bones. Oh, they were burying bones all right. Parking lot of a Denny's. Homeless woman pulled down her pants and began cleaning her snatch with wet white sheet stolen from a KFC. I'll always remember the look on the faces of the family in the minivan with Ontario plates. They'll never forget that vacation. Old woman shuffled into my shoe department stockroom, hoisted her skirt, and proceeded to spray diarrhea all over the cement floor and the shoe boxes on the bottom shelves in her vicinity. Coworker then proceeded to vomit. Needless to say, it was not safe to work until a housekeeping team cleaned up and loss prevention salvaged out a few $100s worth of shoes.